Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Krizia. If you're new here, welcome to my channel where I cover everything from being a content creator to being a makeup artist and sharing everything in between. Today, I'm revealing how I paid off all of my credit card debt in 1 year, or actually less. Stick around till the end for a step-by-step process of how I was able to do this and how you can do it too. I had thousands of dollars of credit card debt, medical emergencies, vet bills, one thing after another. The debt just got the best of me, and it happens to everyone. So if you're in this position now, do not shame yourself. Everyone is either in credit card debt now, has been, or will be. So trust me, there's no need to be embarrassed or to shame yourself about it. I had this rolling balance of at least $5,000 every month. Even though I was making well above my monthly average payments, it just felt like I was going nowhere. Like it was literally just doing nothing, because there was some simple little things that I was doing or wasn't doing that was just keeping me in the same position for so long. And just to give a quick little backstory, because I personally don't come from money and I understand how frustrating it is when you don't know a lot about money or you don't have any knowledge on what it means to build up a savings account or how to invest your money. Like I grew up with a lot of limiting money beliefs, and I'm a first-gen daughter, and that means that there was a lot of responsibility for me to learn about money. First and foremost, your mindset, because I know this is a part that everyone has heard about. Maybe you don't want to hear it, but it is just the reality check that we all need. It's no secret that your mindset is a powerhouse, and it really will make or break the decisions you make in your life. If you're not in the right mindset, you will make poor money decisions, bad health choices, etc., etc., etc. And on the flip side of that, with the right mindset, you will make better money decisions, you will make better choices in general, because you're no longer making emotional, impulsive decisions. You're thinking strategy, you're thinking long-term, you're thinking delayed gratification. What is the language I currently have about money? Over time, like this didn't happen overnight, like it does take time to really understand the beliefs that you have. This is not only gonna save you from racking up more debt, it's going to help you prevent yourself from getting in this position ever again. Pick up a few books. Like I really highly recommend getting the book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. I'll leave it in the description below. I listened to the audiobook and literally changed my life. But you really need to get serious about your financial education, because unfortunately, no one else is gonna teach us. If we don't make time to teach ourselves new money habits, we're gonna do what overall society programs us to do, which is overspend, overbuy, and not invest, and just not make overall smart choices with our money. For things that you can actually apply and things that are more tangible, disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. If you have a really tricky situation with a lot of complications, then you should probably go speak to a financial advisor or someone else in the financial industry. I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing my journey on how I paid off my credit card debt with the knowledge that I had. First things first, if you have a job, you're already ahead. Having a job gives you such an advantage that yes, we may not like our jobs, we may hate our jobs actually, or the people we work with, but it is a steady paycheck. And depending on what job you have, it can actually be enough. If you really look at the income that you're making, you are more than likely able to set aside even a couple dollars every month. What I did was I know, okay, my steady paycheck gives me this amount every 2 weeks. So I know exactly how much I'm gonna be getting just from that. That alone is gonna help me set up monthly reoccurring payments. Something that I learned is you need to be automating these processes to make it like an out of sight, out of mind type of thing. And you're doing yourself a favor, because you don't have to remember to go make your payments. You can just set it up to be reoccurring every month, because you know it's gonna be due and you know when you get paid. Having a steady paycheck, you need to be able to break down what are your non-negotiable expenses. So your essentials like rent, car payment, electricity, utilities, groceries. Those are the things that I did. And I basically took a list of all the essential, like non-negotiable expenses. And then I was able to know, okay, with how much I get paid for my job and these being my non-negotiable expenses, this gives me X amount as a leftover to use towards miscellaneous spending or paying off my credit card debt. That will give you an idea of how much you can technically afford right now to be able to start making those payments towards your credit cards if you haven't been paying them, or bigger payments if you have been making payments, but more on this later. Which brings me to my next point. So having a job is great, but honestly, I would be lying if I said that having a side hustle wasn't a big part of me being able to pay off my debt this fast. So if you haven't seen my video on becoming an influencer, you can see the video here, but I was able to make an extra $76,000 from being an influencer. Okay, now I'm not telling everyone to go out there and be an influencer, but that's just what worked for me. At the time, I was able to turn something that I loved into a side hustle, not even knowing the income potential that I could make, but it just kind of compounded and built it up into this progress. I was consistent with it, I took it serious, and thank God that I did, because when I got laid off from my job at the end of the year, it was what I became my full-time income. How can you apply this in your life? If you want to be an influencer, great. I think there's a lot of potential to make a lot of money if you take it seriously and treat it like a business. If you don't feel like content creation or influencer is for you, then there's so many side hustles nowadays that you can pick up or start to make money. I will say that you have to be a little bit strategic about what you do and how much you charge, how much you make. You need to pay attention to things like, what is the return on investment for this amount of time I'm spending on this task? For example, when I first moved to LA, I was a makeup artist doing makeup gigs. So like weddings, like photo shoots, music videos. Because I had just moved to a new city, like I wasn't able to charge what I was charging nearly as much in where my hometown was. So because of that, I was actually doing a lot of work for very little pay, and it was a lot of labor. Sometimes I'd be on set for like a whole day, and the amount at the end of it would be like $300, $500, and it just didn't feel worth my time because there was only so much of that I could do. So once I started dabbling into content creation and realized I'm technically doing the same thing that I love, which is makeup, but now I was getting thousands of dollars per gig, and I was able to do this at home without having to leave my house, spend time in traffic, and spend a whole day of breaking my back basically. Then I realized this was more of a return on my investment of time than those other gigs were. Now, this is no shade to any one side hustle, because trust me, it's not for everyone. And I don't think you should just do anything because of the money. You should do what feels right for you. So I feel like, yes, I did kind of hit the jackpot because I fell into something I was really passionate about and was able to turn that interest into a full-on business and made a really decent amount of money with it. I was able to be a lot more aggressive with paying off my debt and a lot quicker with it. So needless to say, definitely think about some ideas of things that you could do on the side, whether that be, you know, like any other skills that you've done and things that you've done in the past, whatever makes sense for you. Basically just start making extra money. Your job is 8 hours of your day. You can definitely spend at least 2 hours of time for yourself in a side hustle. The next point that I want to make is making really big payments. So I made big payments. Okay, like in the beginning, I was never making just the minimum payment, because trust me, if you're making just the minimum payment on your credit card, you're going to be paying that for like 30-40 years, and with interest, you're going to end up paying thousands of extra dollars. You have to understand what your interest rate is on your credit card too. I highly recommend go look at your bank statements, go call your bank, or whatever you need to do. You need to just know these things. And that was a mistake that I made, is like I didn't even know really how much interest I was paying if I was. I didn't really understand anything like that, so I was just like mindlessly going about spending, paying off whenever I could, and it's like, oh, okay, in my mind, as long as I'm not paying just the minimum amount, I'll be fine. But it really just kept me in the same position for so long. I think last year, even though I was making payments on time and bigger than the minimum amount, I was paying, I think, at least $900 in interest total for the end of the year. That's almost an extra $1,000, and that I could have just saved for myself. So know your interest rates, get to know your accounts, don't be scared to log in. Like, you have to be able to face the facts. Multiple payments per billing cycle, AKA per month, if you can, okay? Either make one really big fat payment, or if you can, 2 big fat payments, multiple payments, because you have to understand, if you want to pay this off quickly, you have to be aggressive and you have to pay a lot, multiple times per month. If you really want to see that number go down, that's what I did. I was like doing 1,000 here, 2,000 here, 1,000 here. Whenever I made extra money, I just put that towards paying off my credit card, like a percentage of it. I can't give you like a magic number because there wasn't a magic number. Every time I just made extra gig money from content creation, I would take, let's say for example, 20% and use that to chop down a large chunk of my credit card debt. And I did that every time I got paid. Of course, cutting back is gonna be key. So not only cutting back on like socializing time, whatever it looks like to you, look at your miscellaneous spending and ask yourself, where can I cut back? For me, I cut back, I went all in, like cold turkey. I don't know what hit me, but I just got so serious. I was like, canceled Amazon Prime, canceled Spotify, canceled Uber Eats. Like, I'm just done, okay? Not only was it costing me money on like the purchases, but it was the fact that convenience, because I knew it was there, Amazon Prime, for example, I would click and buy, even if it was just one thing at a time, it adds up. And I just wanted to remove that convenience so that I could not be tempted to spend on impulse. Like having an Uber Eats membership, yeah, they reduce the delivery fees, even though they really don't reduce the delivery fees, but that meant like having that mentality made me a little bit more lazy when it comes to like cooking food or going out and buying groceries. And I was like, overall, this was just more helpful for me because one, it would get me out of the house. I would go get groceries and I would pay the same amount that I would have for an Uber Eats meal for like 3 meals at least to cook at home. So it was just overall a smarter decision on my end. This is just me personally, and it helped me be just more on top of my shit. And not only that, but like that reoccurring monthly payment, like I just wanted to cut out anything extra that I didn't actually need while I was paying off my credit card. And then now that I've already fully paid off my credit card, I wanted to be able to look back and see like, okay, what did I find I could actually live without? Like I could actually live without Uber Eats now. I actually enjoy going to the grocery store more often and made it more part of my routine to get out of the house. So it also gave me an opportunity to just like look at my life and my choices and just be like, okay, this can stay, this can go. I feel like a huge part of me feeling okay with like taking major sacrifices, like not going out to eat or whatever, is because I didn't really feel pressured from like a social life. Anytime I would go out, it would be for like influencer events. If you are someone who has already made it a routine to like meet up with friends for dinner, go out for drinks, do what you want. But I will just say personally, like doing a little inventory on the people you surround yourself with, because it does rub off on you. Another thing that I did that was really helpful, it just helped me separate my money. I don't know if you guys know about a high yield savings account. If you don't, I'll leave a link below to the one that I use, but this is genius. Basically, when you have your money sitting in a savings account in a regular bank, for example, you literally get pennies, if that, for your savings. And sometimes you actually get a fee if your savings doesn't meet a certain amount every month, which is ridiculous. But I learned about high yield savings account where you basically don't have any fees. There's no minimum. You just transfer your money in there and it actually builds interest for you. So it makes money. Actually earned, I think it was like 20 or 30 bucks in just a couple of months of my same money that I had in my regular bank account that I moved over to this high yield savings account. I don't know why I didn't know about this sooner, but I'm telling you now so you don't have to go through the time wasted. Another reason why this was helpful is because it separated my checking and my savings account, which I had them together in the same bank before, but by separating them, I not only was getting interest with it being in a high yield savings account, but I actually wasn't tempted to transfer money from my savings to my checkings, which I used to do, and like use the extra money in my savings when I felt the need to. Like then now that it was like just out of sight, out of mind, I honestly just would forget that it was there, and it's like, oh cool, my money's still there and it's earning interest actually. I just want to say that like as someone who never thought I'd see a day where I fully paid off my credit card, and now as we speak have a $0 balance on my credit card statement, like I can't even tell you the happiness I feel, the freedom I feel just knowing that I don't owe anyone shit. Please know that it's never too late to turn it around, never too late to get started on, getting serious with paying off credit card debt or anything for that matter, and you can do it. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, do me a favor and hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more glow up content like this, because I've just reached a point where I'm like, look, I feel like I've learned so much and I'm ready to just be an open book and share it with you guys, because we all need to win, okay? We all need to support each other. We all need to help. So if you have any of your success stories with debt, like leave them down below in the comments, share your tips and knowledge. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace out.